Hi, this is a foreigner in the Philippines. Well, it's getting pretty late, so it's one of those meandering nights. It's strange. I just keep getting sent these books which suddenly come into play and actually mean something. Now, once I've read many books. It's one of my passions is reading, and for what I laughingly call an education, which is cobbled together by reading many books, and I make no excuses for that. That's left school when I was 15, so education, okay, let's call it that. Okay, so I used to have this book which was you may be familiar with it, the I Ching, or I called it the I Ching, right or wrong. And the I Ching, you actually have several coins. You throw the coins down, and the way that yes, I know that this is witch doctoring. Well, I'm a bit like that. So put the coins down. Depending how the coins lie, whether heads or tails, they fall into a certain pattern. And you take that pattern and you look it up in the book, and the pattern in the book then actually gives you some advice on what your situation is, dependent on how the coins have fallen and what the pattern of the I Ching says. So I don't know what it was, but it was so I left out the throwing down of the coins and everything, and if I got into a situation where I needed some I could do with a little bit of input and some advice, I'd just take the book and without knowing what the page was, I hold the book up and just do it like this and open the book. And it was uncanny how the wisdom in the I Ching just came through, just on that pure, by chance, hocus pocus way of doing things. I would find something that inspired me to continue to go on, to live in hope, to live in love, and it was a constant companion to me for quite a time. Well, it's funny that I did recommend a book that I'd recently been given from, it was in one of the boxes. I think it was the box that was sent by Mr. and Mrs. O, in case they're there, said, hey, we sent that book. And it was The Case for Christ. I got a terrific amount out of that book and I recommended it. So here I am, I'm simply recommending something that I got a lot from. And well, what do you know? Here's my next book, what's it called? Teachings of Buddha. So, Teachings of Buddha, this is about the Buddhist way of looking at things. And what the book does is, well, I'll show you the contents page. You can read the contents page. It's just a ton of stuff, and they're all fairly short. Look. So if you're one of those people who doesn't like to, who looks at a book and says, oh my God, I can't read that. Look at it. It's 300 pages. Well, this isn't. Well, it's 200 pages, but they're all short and sweet. So I find this another one of those books that it's easy just to take it, open it anywhere, and lo and behold, there will be something there which you can use. Now, the one that I opened up, once again, it's uncanny, but we recently took down some videos which we felt were just promoting and continuing to promote a hate campaign that had been going on, and so we decided that it would be better if we just got all of that out of our lives, and we took down a couple of videos, and some people said, oh, weakness, fear, and other people said you took the high ground, and it was good. So in the main, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people actually commented on the video itself, and then other comments on our reasons for taking it down. And our reasons for taking it down are pretty well summed up in this little piece from Dhammapada. I'll apologize for my interpretation of pronunciation on Indian names. But anyway, the title of the thing is Hatred Never Dispels Hatred, which was particularly pertinent and appropriate to us. So I'm going to read that to you with your indulgence. It says, "Look how he abused me and beat me, how he threw me down and robbed me. Live with such thoughts and you live in hate. Look how he abused me and beat me, how he threw me down and robbed me. Abandon such thoughts and live in love. In this world, hate never yet dispelled hate. Only love dispels hate. This is the law, ancient and inexhaustible. You too shall pass away. Don't remind me. Knowing this, how can you quarrel?" Well, whether we would be reinstated into love, I take that. My interpretation is that it would be better to forgive, even if you don't forget. Even if you go on all the wiser, then that's the best way to do it. And the more that you have those thoughts, this is what really sort of rings a bell to me, and that is, if you are living with such thoughts about how you're abused or beaten or cheated or lied to, or all of these things, if you're living with those thoughts and recounting them, and Beth and I used to get into that situation where we'd be saying, oh, he said this and he said that, and he did this and did that, exactly what it says on this page, and it didn't get us anywhere, which was why we said enough, finish, move on. Now, the next page that I opened up is just as incredible, because it is on patience. And what it does is it tells a story in parables in a lot of these things, right? So it says, at one time Shakyamuni Buddha was staying in the town of Kosambi. Right. So I'll cut to the chase on this. In this town there was one who resented him and who bribed wicked men to circulate false stories about him. Under these circumstances, his disciples, it made it difficult for them to operate, because in India these holy men are supported by the population, and they carry a begging bowl, and that's how they eat. So it was making it difficult. So Ananda, a follower, said to Shakyamuni, "We had better not stay in this town like this. There are other and better towns to go to. We'd better leave this town." And the Blessed One replied, "Supposing the next town is like this, what shall we do then?" "Well, then we'll move to another town." The Blessed One said, "No, Ananda, there will be no end in that way. We had better remain here and bear the abuse patiently until it ceases, and then move to another place. There are profit and loss, slander and honor, praise and blame, pain and pleasure in this world. The enlightened one is not controlled by these external things. They will cease as quickly as they began." So, once again, I think this may well have come, I think, from, I have a feeling this book came in a box from Buttercup, I think so. But it suddenly appeared, I hadn't noticed it, and it suddenly appeared, so I thought, wow, that looks good, and I've had it by my bedside. Criticism and praise. The Buddha says, If outsiders speak against me, the teaching or the order, you should not be angry for that which would prevent your own self-conquest. Similarly, if they praise us. But you should find out what is true or false and acknowledge the fact. And even in praise, it is only of trifling matters that an unconverted man might speak of me. So, in other words, you get on and you do what you do. You find out what your mission is, and then rather than not working at what you should be doing, if you're constantly looking back and worrying about things that are happening in your trail, then you will be slowed down. If you're in a race and somebody, a friend of mine, this is a favourite analogy of his, he said, if you look at people in a long distance race, they're going along and some get forward and then some get back and everything, but then you start to see the leader starts to emerge, and then others will actually elbow him and try to push him to the side or push him off his stride. And what the winners do is they simply run faster. They run faster than their competition can keep up, and that's how they win. So we're running faster. So I thought you might like to see that. I thank you for the people who wanted to see the books that we have on a shelf, many of which, the novels and everything, I haven't read, even though they are they're best-selling authors, and I will get round to reading them, but I tend to pick up on a book like this because there's so much work to do on yourself that it's kind of time to get down and do it, and that's how I feel about it. So that's what I'm inclined to do. A book which will change your life if you are open to it. If you're not open to it, it will just be a book that you opened very briefly and closed very quickly. For me, it was a good book, and I enjoyed looking at it. I enjoyed having you with me, and this is a foreigner in the Philippines. Thanks for looking in. Bye for now.